which are relevant to all contracts with regard to expression. I mentioned to you that these conditions are three. Three conditions are there with regard to all contracts for the expression taking place in a valid manner so that a contract could come into being. One is referred to in Arabic as wuduh. Wuduh means clarity or clarity of indication. The second is the clarity of indication, and the second is conformity of the acceptance to the offer, that we call tatabuk. The acceptance conforming to the offer. And the third is continuity between offer and acceptance. Continuity between the expressions forming the contract. Well, we shall look at each one of these briefly. Now, can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Well, so these are the three conditions. Each of these has details. So clarity of indication or al-wuduh refers to the expression providing a clear indication of the objective of the contractors in creating that contract. The objective of the contract and the nature of the contract should be clearly indicated through the expression. This is the most vital and fundamental purpose of expression, because contractual intent is hidden in the minds of the parties and it is not accessible. And the purpose of expression or sigha is to provide an external indication of the contractual intent. So this external indication provided by the contractual intent should be clear and unambiguous. The nature and objective of the contract should be clearly indicated through the expression, because otherwise the sigha fails to fulfill its purpose. Now, why should it indicate the objective and nature clearly? Because contracts are many. Contracts are many, and contracts can take place in many ways, or contracts can take many forms. And each contract and each type of contract has its own set of rules and regulations. Rules, requirements, regulations, conditions, they differ. So unless if this indication provided by the expression is complete, it will not be possible to know which set of rules and requirements would apply to that contract. You see? So it is very much vital. It is very much vital that the sigha expression provides a clear indication of the nature of the contract and the purpose to be achieved through the contract. Now, this is a general requirement with regard to all contracts, and that's why we're discussing it in such general terms here. When we come to specific contracts, now there can be hundreds of rules that the sigha expression or text of the contract necessarily should mention such and such details. If not, the contract cannot be formed, because the nature or objective of the contract is not illustrated and indicated properly through expression. So in a contract of sale, the expression must be complete. It should indicate what the goods are, what the type of goods are, what the quantity of goods is, you see? and what the price is, and how much it is, what quantity it is, or what amount it is, what is the denomination, and what are the relevant terms and conditions about any credit period, when shall payment become due. You see? So in a contract of partnership, what will be the capital, how much will it be, how much will the capital be, and the nature of the terms and conditions relevant to the partnership agreement. So each contract, each variety of contracts has its own requirements about what should be mentioned in the expression in order to make the text complete and unambiguous with regard to the objective and nature of that particular contract. But when speaking about contracts in general, we can say that the Sigha should provide a clear and unambiguous indication about the objective and nature of the particular contract that is being created. And this is the fundamental purpose that is served through the expression, providing external indication of the contractual intent. Well, now with regard to the second requirement or second condition for Sigha in general, the first requirement was to ensure that the expression provides a clear indication of the nature of the contract and the objective of the contract, the nature of the legal effect to be created, the nature of the rights and obligations to be created or that are being created. So this should be indicated clearly, and clarity in that was, ensuring clarity in that was the purpose of the first condition. The second condition, which is tatabuk, which refers to conformity of acceptance to the offer, or conformity between offer and acceptance. This condition is there to ensure that both or all the contractors are creating one and the same contract. You see? That they are creating one and the same contract. So this condition is about the offer and acceptance being similar, offer and acceptance corresponding to each other, the expressions of the parties corresponding to each other, and there being no discrepancy between the expressions of the parties. First condition was about indicating contractual intent clearly so that the nature of the contract is clearly outlined. The second condition of tatabuk is to ensure that both or all the contractors are creating a contract with the same details, that they are creating one and the same contract. This is vital to ensure that conjunction can take place. We said the basis of contract to aqd is conjunction of expressions. So conjunction can only take place if tatabuk is achieved, which is that the expressions of the contractors should indicate that they are creating one and the same contract. There should not be any discrepancy between the expressions of the parties. Now, this is automatically achieved. The condition of tatabuk is automatically achieved if the parties are creating the contract through writing and they are placing their signatures on the same document. There is a single writing, single document, giving details about the nature of the contract that is created, and both parties are placing their signatures on that document. So here, the tatabuk is achieved automatically because they are agreeing on the same set of details. So there is no individual verification necessary whether the expressions conform to each other or not. But the tatabuk can become an issue if the contract is created through separate uh, documents, or there is no document, it is created through speech. So here it is vital to see whether acceptance and offer conform to each other 100% or not. If there is any discrepancy between offer and acceptance, now despite of each party mentioning very clearly the nature of the contract that he's creating, conjunction cannot take place because they differ in details. So they may not come together in order to form a contract. Well, now how can tatabuk not materialize? For instance, in any detail, any vital detail, the offer and acceptance differ, which can vary from contract to contract. So as I said, in every contract, it has its own requirements about what should be mentioned in the text of the contract so that the indication provided is complete. So any vital aspect pertaining to that contract, if the offer and acceptance differ, then the conjunction will not materialize and the contract will not be created. If the offer refers to sale of item A, acceptance refers to sale of item B, there cannot be a contract. No tatabuk, no conformity, despite of other details being clear and complete, direct and unambiguous. Or let's say the offer refers to, if it's a contract of sale, item A in full, whereas the acceptance refers to item A, half of item A. Or let's say that the offer refers to plot A, but the acceptance refers to half of plot A. You see? Or the offer refers to the price in dollars. The acceptance refers to the same amount, numerical amount, but in ringgits. Or the offer refers to the price being paid in cash. The acceptance refers to credit terms, the price being paid later. Or the offer refers to the price being paid in 1 month. The acceptance refers to price being paid in 3 months. So there can be hundreds and let's say thousands of ways in which tatabuk may not materialize in different types of contracts. So tatabuk or conformity is another vital, fundamental, and basic aspect with regard to the formation of a contract as far as the creation of expression is concerned, because when tatabuk or conformity does not materialize, conjunction may never take place. Now, there is an additional detail that you should understand. Well, this is about direct conformity or complete conformity or implicit or implied conformity. Direct or complete conformity is when the expressions agree in every detail. Implicit conformity is a situation where one of the expressions, let's say the acceptance, refers to the details mentioned in the offer, but in an indirect or implicit manner. If you look at the literal sense, there is a discrepancy. But in meaning, the offer provided is accepted. Really? These two can take place in many ways in different contracts. But to give a simple example, a situation where the offer being created for a specific price. This item is sold to you for 100. This is sold to you at 100. The crux of the contract is an item, a specific item referred to in the contract being sold, and the price is referred to as 100. And the acceptance too refers to the same item, but the acceptance refers to or mentions a price of, let's say, 110. Okay? Acceptance refers to 110. So when you look at 100 and 110, there is discrepancy. But when you look further, you can see the acceptance referring to 110 means 100 plus 10. So the offer of 100 is not rejected. Only that the second party or the buyer mentions the creation of the contract at a price which is higher than the price mentioned in the offer. Offer for 100, acceptance for 110. So in this situation, can there be a contract or not, despite of the discrepancy between offer and acceptance? In the majority of schools of Islamic law, this will not result in a contract. If a contract is to result, then the seller should make a counter statement which indicates that he is willing to sell at 110. Remember, we are talking of the creation of the contract. So tatabuk is vital. So if there is no complete tatabuk, the contract may not be created. In the Hanafi school, in one of the schools of Islamic law, this of course this has details, but briefly speaking, in a situation of implicit conformity, the contract will be created, meaning these two expressions can result in a contract. The situation where offer is 100, offer mentions 100, and the acceptance mentions 110, there can be a contract despite of the discrepancy here, because implicit conformity is found. But who can tell me if a contract is to be formed based on these two expressions alone? What will be the price the buyer is obliged to pay? If a contract resulted in this situation, how much will the buyer be obliged to pay? At what price will the contract take place? Who can tell me? I hope you came with some preparation, or at least based on the common sense you can. So tell me. Let's say from section 1. Mr. Ahmad Reza, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, don't ask me to repeat the question. Tell me, at what price?
I think it's the price of 100.
Yes?
The $100, the offer price.
You are correct, yes. If a contract is to result out of or based on these two statements alone, the contract would be for 100 only because this is the aspect common to the expressions. So despite of the other offer mentioning a higher figure, as far as the excess amount is concerned, there is no conformity. So it will the seller will not have the right to demand that 10 unless if he makes a counter statement through which he confirms sale at 110. Well, so these are theoretical issues which have details. So whether implicit conformity is accepted or not can vary from contract to contract, meaning specific forms of contracts have their own set of rules and regulations and details, but tatabuk is a fundamental requirement for the validity and formation of contract. Well, the third requirement, continuity of offer and acceptance, continuity of expressions, which in Arabic is referred to as ittisal. What does continuity mean? Well, continuity means that the offer and acceptance remains valid and live so that they could join together to form a contract. That the expressions remain live. The expressions do not become expired or become invalid before conjunction takes place and the contract is created. So the first condition, clarity, was to ensure the contract being clearly outlined and indicated. The second condition was to ensure that both contractors or both parties or all parties are creating the same contract with the same details. Now this third condition is there. The third vital fundamental condition with regard to all contracts is to ensure that the expressions remain live so that they can join together to form a contract. What do we mean by the expressions remaining live? We know that the expression indicates contractual intent. Let's say that party A expressed, remember we are talking of the science behind creation of contracts. How exactly does a contract come into being? So let's say party A expressed his contractual intent by providing an external indication of the contractual intent. Now, this indication provided about its contractual intent should remain valid until the second party expresses his intent so that both can create a single contract. If the expression provided by the first party becomes nullified or becomes expired, in that case, at the time when the second party provides the indication or makes its expression, there won't be any previous expression to which it can or with which it can join. So expressions remaining valid and live is vital for their joining together in order to result in a single contract. Let's say that a person made the offer, for instance, of a sale now. So within duration of time, what should be the duration of time within which the acceptance should be pronounced, or within which the acceptance should be expressed. Let's say the offer was made now, this contract is being created hereby, this item is sold hereby to you at this price. Does it mean that the other party can come after 3 months and make its expression and argue that there is a contract now? Okay? It's not possible. Why? The first expression may have become expired by the time the second expression is made. So there cannot be conjunction to form a contract, because by the time the second expression was made, the first expression was no longer valid or existent. So these expressions remaining valid so that they can join together to form a contract, this is what is being ensured through the third condition of ittisal. So for ittisal to materialize, for continuity to materialize, there are 3 conditions. One is that both the offer and acceptance, or all the expressions, should take place in one and the same session. The second condition is that the expression made by a contractor should not be terminated before the expression of the other party or parties join with it to form a contract. The third condition or third requirement is that the first expression should not be withdrawn or cancelled by the particular contractor who made it before being accepted by the second party through his own expression. These are 3 conditions for ittisal or continuity taking place, so that the expressions can join each other to result in a contract. Well, now here we come to discuss about the session of contract. Session of contract. In Arabic, Majlisul Aqd. Session of contract, a requirement for almost all contracts, that the expressions should take place in one and the same session, because if the expression or expressions of one of them falls outside the session, it would not be able to join the previous expression in order to result in a contract. Now, session of contract is broadly defined as the state in which the parties are involved in the creation of the contract. The state in which the parties are involved in the creation of the contract. So this is a very broad definition. We'll explain why it is kept so broad. Now, so if both expressions or all expressions are created within this session, then they can join together to form a contract. If any expression falls outside the session, it will not be able to join the previous expression or expressions and result in a contract. Now, what is the need for this session? 2 minutes left. So what is the need for the session? The need for the session is that the expression of contractual intent made by the party, any party, reflects the contractual intent at a single point of time. At that particular point of time, his contractual intent is reflected through the expression. So there is no guarantee that in the moment that follows, his intent is the same. The expression provides indication of the contractual intent at a particular point of time. So at the next point of time, at the next nanosecond, you cannot say the same intention remains. So looking at the situation or creation of a contract from this angle, no contract can ever be created. No contract can ever be created unless if both parties create the expression exactly at the same point. So remember that we're talking at the science behind the creation of a contract through which rights, obligations, legal effects are created. This is the scenario behind creating a contract. Well, so the time is ending, so we'll complete our discussion in our next class. So make sure that you prepare very well. In the tutorials, I see that you don't come with preparation, especially for the tutorial on promise this week. You have to go through the relevant material, and the additional material I requested, which are uploaded on iThalim as well, about 3 documents. Please ensure that you go through this so that you can come prepared for tutorial. If not, we'll not be able to discuss any question meaningfully. Well, thank you very much. So we'll wind up with this. So we'll meet you again.